here's some of the starting lineups for our last match today, Penn State versus BYU. Dave Peters being the referee today for Penn State. Dylan Acker, Robert Alexander, Nicholas Brala, Ryan Henley, Scott Hill, Justin Henley, Stephen Hurley, Matthew Hutchinson.
You got the bird and a couple of
Bradley Cornhouse, Richard Propaski, Joseph Fresno, John Lehman, Justin Water.
The main thing is to get the bird like here.
Fine. We have a running clock. He's catching the...
Dana Manlick, David, brother, Christopher Marcel, Timothy Morris, Nagaroni, Ricketts, Roberts, Roof, Rupp, Sustakowski, Swart, and Wallach rounded out for Penn State.
Three on two. 3 on 2. Now you're just senile. There's a difference here. And the women? You get me twice today this weekend. Do it again tomorrow. Women's game first.
We got to get these crutches across the way. Who's over there? Colleen? Hey, Matt.
Here's BYU. Taylor Allers, Grant Barnes, Craig Clark, Carl Dempsey, William Fail, Morris Heva, Daniel Kiefer, Taylor Carr. Duran Ingaroo, Vito, Derek Smith, Michael Smith, Jacob Song, Steve St. Pierre, and Sam Thorley.
Good afternoon and welcome to the last semifinal at the Baza College National Championships. USA Rugby National Championships, we've gone through one men's semifinal where the Cal Golden Bears bested the Navy Midshipmen. Now we're looking at Penn State running out against BYU Cougars. The Penn State Nittany Lions set to kick off. And the ball is in the air. The game is underway. BYU comes down a little bit, puts it forward. Referee Peters doesn't quite see it there. BYU looking through their hooker to get something going. Big number 1, Morris Avea. Tries to make some ground, but an early offsides call against number 3, Richard Krimpaski, big boy from Penn State. Krimpaski, a 6'4", 255-pound player. No shrinking violet in the scrums there. Ball's not made its touch. Penn State looking to have a go again. Off the boot of wing, Justin Lauder gets in behind the BYU defense, right on their line. Fullback gathers, puts the ball in a touch. This is the Baza USA Rugby College Championships. This is John Broker, and I'm joined once again by John Tyler for the last semifinal of the day. Just about tired yet, John?
Sorry?
Just about tired yet?
I had to go talk to Peter Thorburn, the Eagles coach down there. He's watching the games.
Under the watchful eye of Peter Thorburn, great selector from New Zealand, now the U.S. Eagles coach. Out here scouting players. We get a ball right out there from Nick Gralla out to Justin Hundley at number 10. Penn State looking to move it pretty quick. Fullback jinking a few moves for the BYU defense. BYU defense has time to gather and may have turned them over the wrong way, but Penn State blasting over that ball, which has been turned over to BYU. Ball back to the BYU fly half. Oh, BYU winger ready to gather. And number 11, Grant Barnes, unfortunately steps in a touch area. He almost had a nice little offload to Daniel Kiefer, the fly half. We'll have
Just
a Penn
barely
State ball.
got a foot in touch.
We'll have a Penn State ball here just at the Cougars' 40-meter line. Penn State, coached, of course, by Don Farrell. Been coaching for a few years, assisted by Terry Ryland. Don, just a great guy, really getting these guys working hard, as well as being an NA4 coach this year. Look forward to a good game from his boys. Ball out from Gralla to Hundley. Hundley puts it inside, not very good, to Ryan Heaney. Heaney driving the ball through. BYU defense gathers. Ball goes out to big number 1, Christopher Miracle of Penn State. Gralla, former under 19, looking for the ball, puts it wide out to number 13, Ryan Sustakowski. Sustakowski feeds Lauder. Lauder chipping up over his opposite number, who fields the ball just into his own try zone. Comes out, looking to get something going, but it's going to be a line out here on a lost ball by Penn State. BYU line out, just about at their own 5-meter line.
Dangerous play by BYU. They're trying to run that out. It'd be better served catching it in goal and then getting a 22-meter line out, or 20 dropout.
I just spoke with the Cal coach and captain, and neither of them wanted to wager on who they thought was going to pull this game away. They were just looking forward to playing one of them tomorrow. But John Tyler may want to say something like that. John, what do you think? Who do you think is going to pull this game out?
Well, BYU's got quite a few Pacific Coast Grizzly players on the team from last year, and All-Americans as well, and in key positions. So I'm interested to see how they'll do. I think they've got a little bit of advantage.
Penn State, a team that's come back from a lot of things this year, as BYU moves the ball forward and safely clears their lines.
Nice job, 6.
Right by their head coach, David Smeet. It's going to be a Penn State line out just inside the BYU 40-meter line. Ball to be put in by Penn State hooker, Jonathan Swart, a 6', 185-pound senior. Overthrows it a bit. Miracle looking to scoop it up, but Hundley comes in and get it. Hundley, a USA Sevens player, nice pickup of the ball there. And Gralla almost away with it. Ball goes forward of a Penn State player. It's going to be BYU ball here on the Penn State knock-on. We have Michael Smith, scrum half for BYU, to put the ball in.
Pause. Stay. No, we're not doing this. One, come here.
Dave Peters, the referee. Time to have a chat with the front right.
Okay, we're not doing this.
He's letting the players know that he wants these scrums to get set off straight.
Crouch.
Again to the BYU scrum. BYU put in. Ball Steve St. Pierre's feet. Ball's out. Number 9's battling it there. Penn State's come up with it through Nick Gralla, the former U19 player. It's going to the ground. Here we go. Ball out to Hundley. Hundley puts the ball to the blue, but it's blocked. They'll have an advantage anyway. There's an offsides call against BYU. Nick Rowlett takes the ball just at his own 40.
That was a pretty tight call. It was marginal.
I think the referee is trying to assert his influence early in the game and let him know it's going to be a tightly called game as we go forward.
I know.
Penn State electing to kick for goal, try to put 3 points on the board here, just 5 minutes into the game. Number 15, Lucas Roberts, steps up. 5'11", 180-pound junior. He started freshman year of high school at St. Joseph's Prep near Philadelphia playing the game. And here he is for Penn State in the semifinals of the college championships. Let's see if he can slot this. He lines up his kick. He's got the height, certainly. Pushes it wide to the right, unfortunately. BYU player down in his own try zone.
22 meter. Get your guys behind.
It's going to be a 22-meter drop here. BYU. BYU fullback puts her a little, nearly a grubber kick. Right back into Lucas Roberts' hands.
That's a dangerous kick.
Lucas Roberts puts it up down in the hands of the
Play on.
inside center, it looks like.
Play on. No knock.
Bit of spilled ball here from BYU earlier. They are looking to kick it, to move it around. Scrum half tries to put in a little box kick, goes over the top. Michael Smith can't quite make it happen.
I'd like to see some of this kicking, this random kicking when you're in a little bit of trouble go away. I think both teams would be better served keeping the ball in possession and taking it up and creating a ruck and moving from that point.
Ball up, comes down. BYU driving it forward, pulls at least 10 meters off it immediately as the Penn State forwards are forward to regather, and they get the advantage. Big number 1, Morris Havea, making a break with it. Offloads it to one of his players.
Let him go. Rock farm. The advantage is
BYU inside the 40. Ball out to the back line to see what they can do. Oh, unfortunately, just a bit of a knock on there. Jonathan Swart, the hooker for Penn State, picks it up. Nick Growler puts it to boot, but slips while he's doing it, but still gets away. A good one. Fullback Sam Thorley chips one through himself. The referee stops. The referee stops. Leslie for penalty and has decided to have a chat.
Back it up. You're going to get the penalty.
Dave Peters has called for the captains.
The penalty is going to be in your favor. However, the little shoulder charges in. I don't want to see that. Stay, okay? This is my game. Kick or kick on the late hit.
The referee awards the penalty to BYU, but pulls aside their fullback and declares it his game. And he's going to go on. BYU is going to have a kick just at the 40-meter line.
Very assertive referee.
Outside.
But he did warn the BYU player that
The guy who reached out and grabbed him.
he's not going to put up with retaliation.
Outside center, Taylor Carr puts in a kick. Gives the BYU a line out, just at the 22-meter line. Taylor, of course, the brother of Kimball Kerr, national team pool player, scrum half several, capped about 16, 17 times. As the big number 8, Steve St. Pierre, the captain, comes flying through. Hits a ball out to their tight head prop. Tight head prop flips it up. Loose head prop winds up taking it in after another pass. Morris Havea almost into the try zone. Morris Havea nearly in. Oh, he did award the try to him. Morris Havea puts BYU 5-0.
Yeah, that pass came out to Derek Smith, the prop, and he released it pretty quickly to free up. Who is it? The number 7 for the try?
No, it was a big loose head prop. Number 1, Morris Havea.
Oh, number 1, yeah.
Puts the ball in.
So there are props passing out for the prop.
I didn't hear you.
A couple of props involved in that movement. It looks like BYU is ready to move it through all their players. Looks like a pretty fun, exciting game coming on. Early 5 points for BYU. 10 minutes gone.
Yeah, BYU has a lot of weapons.
That pass was flat, guys. I was right there. Oh, thanks.
Taylor Kerr is a very solid defender at center, and he's definitely a weapon. Clearly, their inside center looks to be a really strong bowling ball type runner. And their forwards, Derek Smith's an All-American, and he was a Pacific Coast Grizzly. He's a very formidable prop.
We have Sam Thorley lines up the kick, but pushes it right. It's going to stay 5-0 in the favor of BYU. Let's see how Penn State reacts to this one. I know, talking to Coach Don Farrell yesterday, he said the boys were getting out their nerves yesterday and ready for a kickoff today. Maybe they're shaking off some early nerves now. Looking forward to seeing the rest of this game as both teams are ready to move the ball, ready to run it, as we have Lucas Roberts lining up for another kick. Try to hang the ball up over his forwards, and does so. Beautifully high kick, raining down. Brought down, knocked on by number 7, Carl Dempsey from BYU, but turned over again to BYU. The hooker there, Duran Ingakuru, takes the ball into some contact. Ball comes back from Smith, out to fly half. Daniel Kiefer, who safely puts it in a touch. We're going to have Penn State ball just outside the BYU 22-meter line. Good attacking location for them. Little. Not exactly sure if Stephen Wallach knew that he was about to hit Jonathan Swart in the head with that ball, but an overthrow there. Chris Miracle going for it, but it's picked up by the number 8, Steve St. Pierre. St. Pierre moving the ball out. That ball is in Nganga's hands. Nganga breaks one tackle. Nganga puts the ball ahead. Nganga speeding on inside the 22 onto the fullback, Lucas Roberts. Lucas Roberts has a handful down right there. Let's see if he can recover from this. Referee in good position as they try to get it. And Nicholas Gralla picks up the ball, but Nick Gralla knocked backwards, but BYU player knocked the ball on. Penn State is going to be lucky to get out of this with a scrum down.
It's a blazing attack by BYU after that line out, and the ball did bounce right for them, and it came right up into number 8's hands, but then off to the races with the 12 and the 14.
Vito Nganga, the 14 there, really putting some pace on the ball.
He had some really good pace and a very nice little kick through that the Penn State winger could not handle.
Wow. Gralla puts the ball in, but BYU just shoves him back and takes it. Steve St. Pierre looking for that try line, doesn't quite find it. Forwards picking it up and trying to maul it in from there. A lot of power coming through here from these boys. Smith gets the ball out to the hooker. Hooker puts it in.
That's a try.
Spilled forward by the fly half just in front of it, but we got a penalty. Penalty advantage here to BYU.
That looked like that was going to be a try by 10, Kiefer, but he knocked it on. Now the referee came back to the previous advantage, the penalty from the offsides, I believe, for the in favor of BYU.
BYU has a penalty, and they are not looking at the post right now. They're looking at line out just outside the 5-meter line of Penn State. Dangerous times. He's 1 through 15. BYU looks dangerous right now.
I think Greg Clark in the line out. Oh,
no, he's fine.
Taking the ball on that line out was
BYU trying to maul it in. Referee on hand, and it's held up.
The referee calling that one from the seat of his pants, sitting down there.
Yeah, we're not sure if he sat down or just wound up down there, but he certainly made the call. It's held up. It's going to be a BYU scrum with the power we've seen in their scrum so far. Penn State is going to have to make some adjustments here.
Crouch. Touch. Pause.
As they come together, Smith puts in the ball. St. Pierre takes it off the back, met by a couple of defenders. Smith gets it back. Big forward, number 5. Craig Clark looking to move the ball in the try zone.
They're really attacking that right side,
Clark.
John.
Yep. Smith comes out. Hooker again playing at the first receiver spot. Gets it inside, does Ngakuru.
Ball was knocked on, no.
Ball was knocked on by a diving forward from BYU, trying to get it in the try zone.
We're scrumming outside.
Penn State scrum.
You would think that Penn State's going to get out of trouble now having the scrum, a 5-meter scrum in their favor, but boy, BYU just overpowered them on the last scrum. Let's see what happens here.
They happen
they're
again.
driving again.
Yeah, putting a lot of pressure on them. Number 8's been able to pick up the ball and move. That's number 8, Bradley Cornhouse. Gralla back to Hundley. Hundley clears his lines over in Nganga's head. Penn State avoiding another early score by BYU there. Penn State really needs to find their feet in this game, I'd say.
Well, BYU's going to get possession out of this line out, though, and then they're still attacking. And maybe it's 35 meters out, but it's still in the attacking part of the field.
It's going to be a BYU line out, bit of in and out in the line out
Penn
here.
State looks a little confused as to who's going to be in the line out.
Referee wants it clear. Oh, little chip kick from the big William Fale, playing it inside center, but it gets picked up quickly by a Penn State runner. Penn State fullback's able to offload it to Justin Hundley. Justin Hundley, the USA Sevens player, caught up by the BYU defense. Players come streaming in, but doesn't look good for him at the moment, the way the pile's going there. Let's see if he can work it back. Nick Gralla has the ball. Nick Gralla with a chip kick over non-existent winger there, as number 14, Ryan Roof from Penn State, puts the pressure on. He gets the ball in his hands. Roof taken down right there. Gralla in over the ball. Big number 3, Richard Krempowski, big 6'4" prop there. Miracle doesn't take the pass. Winds up in Dylan Acker's hands. Dylan Acker can't handle it. Number 4, Ryan Heaney has to come in and clean it up, but it's been turned over by Willie Fale. There's the hooker, Ingakuru, getting involved in the action again for BYU. BYU just outside their own 40. Been turned over by Penn State now. Here's Chris Miracle having a run, the big boy.
Going forward to be tackle.
John, that's just a series of turnovers and knock-ons right there. It's going to wind up in Penn State's hands, but I'm sure both teams would love to forget that 30 seconds of play.
Well, it's the little things that make the difference here, and both teams are making some critical mistakes here in terms of giving up possession.
Gralla to put in the ball. Ball's a...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, looked a bit dangerous. Yeah, we looked like some of the players were playing a little illegally there from BYU.
That could be called a number of ways because Penn State slipped and went down, and BYU kept on driving over. So the referee, I think, in the interest of safety, penalized the team for driving over. And
number 11, Robert Ruff, gets up to take. Justin Lauder gets up to take a kick. Number 11.
Make sure to check out the USA Rugby's website.
Justin Lauder.
Space, boom! Give space!
Referee giving some instructions to the captain about the way the scrums are going. Penn State lines up for the ball. Ball up to Ryan Heaney. Heaney down with it, driving forward. Penn State trying to maul it through a big bunch of forwards there. Looking to recycle the ball there. Gralla out to Hundley. Hundley with a drop goal. He's pushed it wide down into the hands of number 11, Grant Barnes, who takes the mark. Wise play there. Feeds it off to his fullback. Fullback going to have a run. Fullback Sam Thorley decided he can take on the entire team by himself. It seems to be doing a pretty good job after breaking 2, 3, 4 tackles. Augie Manelik there in, finally makes the hit. Tough kid in Augie, All-American last year, playing an open side flanker. Again, called into service as Augie, as William Fale knocks it around, comes back into the hands. Number 2, Jonathan Swart from Penn State. A lot of loose play going on here. Nick Gralla, surrounded by defense, has to take it into himself. BYU calling for some kind of penalty on that, but he's saying it was fine.
I think BYU is right. That was knocked forward by Penn State and played by Penn State.
Number 6, Stephen Wallach takes the ball for Penn State, but the ball is out of the back of there. Has to be scooped up by another Penn State player, Ryan Krempowski. Justin Hundley in there trying to clean it up, but the ball comes back to the BYU side. Smith feeds it out to Keeper. Keeper feeds it out again. Ingakuru, the hooker, involved in all sorts of play. Out to Nganga. Nganga kicks it, taken in by fullback Lucas Roberts from Penn State. Turned over again by BYU, but by doing something illegal there. It didn't get turned over. It's a penalty against them. It's going to be a Penn State ball.
Yes. Hands in.
Hands in by he must have called a ruck, and he reckoned the hands are in. Well,
Penn State gains themselves some ground. Back down into the BYU half. Halfway through the first half here at Stanford University. This is the USA Rugby Baza College Championships, powered by Media Zone. Score is 5-0 to BYU. Pretty even contest actually here. A little more power coming from the BYU side, but Penn State able to hang in there with a few deft kicks, a few smart plays. as Joseph Crezo gets attended to here on the side by the Penn State medics. Referee Peters is ready to move the game on. Swart to put the ball in again. Goes straight to Wallach, doesn't come down, comes down on the BYU side. Smith is in here. Gets the ball out to Keeper. Keeper puts boot to ball. Oh, knocked on by the fullback, Lucas Roberts there. Unlucky for him. Gets a little love and shove from Taylor Carr as he moves away from the ball. It'll be a scrum down to BYU here in a great attacking position.
Loosehead, come here. Loosehead.
The referee has decided it's time to have a talk with one of the props. Seems to have a judge or something going on.
I want you to stay square, okay? Even if you have to go back a little bit, okay? Your left leg's dipping, you're coming up and in, okay?
Can't say I don't agree with the referee after the body slam I saw on the last scrum from big number 1, Morris Havea.
I think he's instructing the front rows to play it a little bit straight up and not torque it around and twist it around.
Just the power of that big boy.
Wow. Okay, so the scrum went down again. He's going to have to manage this scrummaging a little bit better. BYU is going to be dominating, and if
guy's going to make me work on my scrums today. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Referee certainly let him know as he's watching. Smith gets ready to put in the ball. Ball's at St. Pierre's feet. Nick Rowlett comes diving over the number 8, and it's scooped up by.
I can't believe that wasn't a penalty.
I'm not sure how that happens, but he's gotten the ball off. Augie Manelik puts in a little chip kick in behind, fielded by Winger.
His decisions are really curious.
Grant Barnes gets smashed. Excuse me, that was Sam Thorley, the fullback, gets smashed. It's Penn State ball, just 22. Here's Gralla, lucky to get away with that. Gets it out to the hooker, Swart. Swart gets it out to Hundley. Hundley out to the outside center. Sustakowski, the winger, Justin Lauder with some room to run. Can't quite make it. Hauled down in the corner by BYU. But going back to that call, John, Nick Gralla just dove over the number 8 there.
I've never seen the scrum half be allowed to dive over the flanker and the number 8 to get at the other scrum half.
I'm not sure if the ball was out or not, but that certainly disrupted play a little bit and pushed things back down to the BYU end.
Even if it was, it's still probably dangerous play in most referees' judgment.
Ball up, taken down by Craig Clark, former Canadian U19 player. BYU drives it forward.
I'll be out of your way.
Smith marshals the troops. St. Pierre comes in. Still driving forward is BYU out to their own 22. Certainly good. And
BYU are doing the right thing now. They're settling it down and not, settling down the possession, driving forward off the line out with a maul and just controlling play. So I think they've decided that it's got to get the tempo of the game's got to get more in control.
They certainly settled down a little bit, but they didn't find touch with that one as Lauder picks it up and gets it back to Lucas Roberts. Roberts puts in a long probing kick into the sun behind a couple of the players. Here we go with this kicking game, back and forth, back and forth. There we have Duran Ingakuru, the hooker, who you've probably heard his name several times so far, fielding that kick back there and putting the ball in a touch. He's been heavily involved in every phase of play. Didn't expect to see him back covering for a wing there.
Well, sometimes hookers, even at the international level, cover back on that weak side when the ball's kicked down. Robbie Flynn used to do that when he played with the Eagles for a while.
Penn State ball trying to pull it through to the fullback coming through the back. Lucas Roberts doesn't quite take the pass from Hundley at pace, and it's been turned over by BYU. BYU number 6, Jacob Son, has knocked the ball forward in the tackle. Looks like it's going to be a scrum here to Penn State.
There's no ruck for him, guys. No ruck for him there.
My goodness. The referee said there was no ruck there.
Referee getting ready to set things down.
I do not want an early push. Crouch.
Nick Gralla set to put it in again. Penn State backs are split. Getting a little shove back. Ball into Justin Hundley's hands. Hundley looking to feed number 14, who's a bit fire out. Ryan Roof. Roof on the ground. Hundley getting in there to get over. BYU player playing on the floor a bit there himself. We'll see where this comes out to. Joseph Michael Smith digging in there.
What a mess.
Scooped up.
Sorry, gentlemen, I should have called it earlier.
Number 6, Jason Son, picked it up, but a little too late as there had been a hands-in infraction on BYU. Referee got to that one a little late.
Right there.
Well, the timing on some of these decisions is curious. That's all. That's all I've got to say.
Justin Hundley puts a ball in a touch. We're going to have a Penn State lineup. I don't think the BYU coaches would disagree with you, John.
Well, even some of the decisions against Penn State. It's
line out here. Swart to put the ball in. Penn State looking to roll it and drive it on. Ball goes to ground with big Richard Krimpaski takes it down. Growler gets it out to Hundley. Hundley looking to go wide with this one. Puts it out to his outside center, Sustakowski. Sustakowski finds some room, tries to offload after a tap tackle, but doesn't get there. Hundley has to go back and try to field it.
7, you're ahead of the kick. 7, you're ahead of the kick.
We have a penalty coming, it looks.
Got a kick back here or scrum up there.
Referee is offering a kick or a scrum to the Penn State team as BYU number 7, Carl Dempsey, was ahead of the ball, ahead of the kicker on that. Penn State has elected for a scrum inside the BYU 22. Maybe not the best option, John, with how their scrums have been going, but
I don't know how their scrum's going. I don't know if I would have elected a scrum. I think I might have taken the kick at the 27-meter line.
Early, guys. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Referee calls them together. Gralla in with the ball. Big number 8. Kornhaus comes off the back with it.
Rock form.
Gralla calling for the ball, gets it out to Hundley. Hundley's got some forward runners, puts it out to Miracle, gets met quickly by William Fale, the big inside center for BYU. Here the ball is back out into, nicely done, into the hands of the fullback, Lucas Roberts, who sends it off to Sam Thorley. But the entire BYU team has been called offside after a big dump tackle on Thorley.
Offside, BYU.
BYU is really on the receiving end of the penalty count at the moment. We have Penn State another penalty, just about 15 meters out. Nick Gralla with the ball in hand. Setting up a penalty play here. Come from some kind of set play. They're going to give it a go. Let's see what happens. He's got Swart out there to field the ball. Swart back to Gralla. Gralla sends it back into Wallach. Wallach makes a bit of ground. Augie Manelican in there to clean up the ball. Quickly into the hands of Nick Gralla. Nick Gralla scores the try. Penn State, after a long series of penalties against BYU, comes in and scores a try to even it up. 5-0 off of a Nick Gralla quick thinking try off the side of a ruck. Gralla, as we said, former U19. Played rugby with Harvey School in Westchester County, New York, and had to bide some time at wing while Mike Petrie was a scrum half here at Penn State. They've gone through a good run of scrum halves, mostly national level players. Mike Petrie looking to break into the national squad sometime soon. I'm sure Gralla will be doing the same. Kick put in by Lucas Roberts. Lucas Roberts lines it up, slots it. It is now 7-5 in favor of Penn State Nittany Lions. Don Farrell will be pretty pleased with that as the Penn State women's team gives a rousing cheer for the Penn State boys. Looking to get back into it. Just over 10 minutes to go here in the half as BYU lines up for another kick.
Crystal Chen.
Sam Thorley puts in a long kick. Kick winds up in Gralla's hands. Gralla gives it a hoof and a touch. It's going to be a BYU line out at Penn State 40. BYU lines up. Duran Ngakuru, pronounced it right every other time, lines up to put the ball in.
And here goes Craig Clark.
Craig Clark comes in, moves to the back of the line out. Clean take.
Main jumper.
BYU tries to move it. Ngakuru comes out, puts it into the hands of Steve St. Pierre. St. Pierre offloads it to Jacob Son. Tries to get out to William Hoppe, but
no, guys.
William Fale, excuse me. But Fale knocks the ball forward. The big inside center, running about 260 pounds right now.
Yeah, BYU's just trying a little too hard. They're trying to get rid of the ball in critical situations, and the passes might be low, and they're knocking them on and giving the Penn State the possession again. When they should just set the ruck and consolidate. Now look, BYU's taking that scrum again.
BYU steals a scrum from him. Ball goes out to William Fale. Fale gets it out to the outside center. Taylor Carr. Taylor goes into the contact.
Penn State player dove right over. That was very obvious.
Penn State gets a diving over call from the referee and decided to take it quick through Taylor Carr.
There goes Taylor.
Carr into the try zone, looking to get on the post. Just a beautiful try there of a quick thinking by Taylor Carr.
Yeah, he really took advantage of that situation. He was right on top of the ball and just tap it and go. If you can take that quick tap when the other team just turns around to get back 10 and take advantage of the placing of where everybody is, then boom, all of a sudden you can get a quick try. And Taylor's really smart player and has a lot of experience and very skilled.
Taylor Carr playing outside center. Of course, we mentioned he's the brother of Kimball. He's also a member of a Highland High School national championship team a few years ago before he went off to BYU. Highland High School in Salt Lake City, Utah. One of the bigger high school clubs in the country. Number of national championships under their belt. Number 15, Sam Thorley, lines up the kick. See if they can extend the BYU lead. Thorley eyes up the post. Makes his move. And he's true with this one. It is now 12-7. BYU over Penn State.
Penn State 7.
Well, this is our fourth and final semifinal of the day. We've had two women's semifinals, followed by the Cal Navy men's semifinal, and here we are, 12-7, BYU over Penn State. Winner of this game, of course, plays Cal. Nice high kick by fullback Lucas Roberts.
Back it up for him. That's good.
Well taken by BYU. Comes off to keeper. Ball in the stands. Going to be Penn State line out just inside the 40-meter line of BYU. Penn State will certainly be looking to answer for what's been happening to him so far.
I'm going to give him time to conform, guys.
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that strategy. If you can't kick it down and get some territory, then it's probably just a better idea to run off that ruck and from the line out.
Unclean ball there from Penn State. Scooped up quickly by Carl Dempsey, the number 7. He's got a good run on here. Cuts back in field. Not held. Gets back up and keeps moving. Number 3, Krimpowski gets in there and tackles him, trying to roll away. Penn State defense set. Just out into Inga Kuru's hands again. Back out to Jacob Son. Smith in there digging it out, but the ball's loose. Just pitches it back a little bit to Craig Clark. Clark dragged down. Ball on number 6, Son's hands again. Son tries to forward it on his own. Penn State players in there trying to dig it out.
Well, this is a really good sequence by BYU, isn't it? Going forward and securing that ball. And
BYU has kept the ball secure there. Almost turned over that last one, but able to pull a penalty from the not releasing defensive player. Here we have a BYU lineout way down inside the 22 of Penn State.
Read the law book.
Referee instructing one of the Penn State players to read the law book. I'm sure he certainly has. Here we have number 5, Craig Clark, going up for the ball. Down to Inga Kuru. Inga Kuru coming across the field.
Oh, what a move.
Just back into Steve St. Pierre. Beautiful move. Just beautiful. And a try is scored by Carl Dempsey. Well, great work by Brigham Young University.
Yeah, Craig Clark taking that ball off the top, and then just before he had to come down, flipping it off to the thrower, who then switched with an outside player to bring it all back against the grain, and number 7 scored, didn't he?
Number 7, Carl Dempsey, put that in the try zone. off a good move involving several key players so far in the game. We had Inga Kuru in there. We had Steve St. Pierre in there. Carl Dempsey. Ball moved pretty well. Came back. Dempsey wound up putting it in the try zone. As Thorley lines up for another kick. Dempsey lines it up as Penn State regroups. Penn State trying to figure out where to go from here with just under 5 minutes to go in the half, down 10 points. Thorley catches his breath and pushes it wide to the right. 17-7, 10-point lead for BYU. Just going into the last couple of minutes of this half, about 4 or 5 minutes left to go. Penn State will be looking to walk in the locker room with a little bit more than what they've had so far. Lucas Roberts lines it up again. Forwards are ready to run on the ball. Puts in a bit of a longer, lower kick this time in Inga Kuru's hands, who gives it into an absolutely fast-breaking Taylor Allred's hands. We haven't seen carry the ball so much yet. Smith gets it off to Inga Kuru. Inga Kuru again, just a dummy pass and breaks through the line. Knocked back by Lucas Roberts. Lucky play there by the Penn State fullback to save that play. Inga Kuru again showing the effect he can have on a game. Ball here from Gralla. Gralla back to Hundley. Hundley puts it into the midfield. Got a midfield runner there, and Ryan Sustakowski. Sustakowski puts the ball down. Heaney coming over in support. But it's been turned over by BYU.
That's good.
BYU number 10 keeper holding on to it on the ground. We have a penalty here to Penn State. Ball in Gralla's hands. Going to go quick. Gralla holds on to it. Runs into a couple of big boys. Finds some support from his forwards. No scrum half there. Nobody seems to realize. But the BYU player threw before the ball was out. That was at the bottom of the bottom of the ruck.
The ball could have been out, but he said he came in from the side. So you have to come directly through the gate, so to speak. And that's in between the
I think the BYU defender thought that the ball was cleanly out of the back of that ruck.
Oh, yeah.
Decided to have a go.
No. You guys
Off the penalty, we're going to have a Penn State lineout inside the BYU 22 with just about 3 minutes left in this game. This gives Penn State a chance to close the deficit a little bit before they have to go to halftime. Swart ready to put the ball in. A little movement in the line. Quick line out. BYU just looking to defend, uncontested. As the ball gets started. Justin Swart at the back. Nick Gralla pushing the boys on. Trying to get them going.
Keep it up.
Continue driving forward inside the 10-meter line. Starting to shear a little bit towards the touchline. Desperate to keep the ball in, Penn State. As they do, Wallach has the ball now. With Manelik hot on his heels. Augie Manelik. Ball's out from Gralla to Hundley. Hundley looking for a little bit of space. And finds Dylan Acker. Dylan Acker finds some space. Just barely getting by William Fale. Here it is back out again to Hundley. Hundley may have some space. Hundley just dancing through the midfield right there. Gets dragged down just out, still up actually, just outside the try line. We've got a BYU player involved in the tackle there. But it's coming back to Gralla. Here comes big Chris Miracle, but met by he stays up, met by a number of defenders, but able to keep piling it forward. Gralla with the ball again. Gralla sends it wide. We've got number 11, Justin Lauder. 11 gets it out to Dylan Acker. Dylan Acker drops it off. Number 6, Wallach trying to get the ball down, but it seems to have lost it forward in the try zone. Unlucky there for Stephen Wallach. Nearly put away a try. John, a little bit of inventive play there from Penn State, really trying to have a go.
Well, he's trying to score the try, but BYU players kept the ball above the ground and prevented him from scoring it. Consequently, he knocked it on in goal, and it's 5-meter scrum to BYU. I think the
BYU
touch
player
judge
staying
saw
on the ground out there.
I think the touch judge saw what appeared to be somebody throwing a punch, and he mentioned it to the referee, but I'm not sure they have the number identified, but it happened in the middle of the field over there.
Stephen Wallach, very involved in that move. Had a pretty big day today. He's been getting around, doing some hard work at blindside flanker for Penn State. Wallach is a 6'1", 205-pound fifth-year senior, actually, from Philadelphia, playing at Penn State. Making an appearance here in the national championship semifinals, the college championship semifinals. We wait for somebody to get.
Well, somebody's injured here, and I don't know if Scott Rogier, the medical director over there on the sideline, is looking. I don't know if he's coming over to help out or not. Scott Rogier's been involved with helping out in the medical for rugby games here at Stanford and with the Pacific Coast Grizzlies, with Santa Clara University. He's done a lot of really good volunteer work, and he should be commended for that. He's very good at emergency medical.
BYU
attention.
trainer still tending to an injured player. I can't get the number there. Let's see if our producer Pat can see who's down.
5.
Oh, number 5, Craig
Yes,
Clark.
Craig Clark.
That'll be a big loss for BYU if he's injured. He seems
He looks
to be
to be
all right.
okay. He probably just took a hit to the nose or something.
Crouch. Touch. Pause.
Have to move my spot here to watch a little bit. We were put in from BYU. Penn State tries to drive him over this time, but BYU, scrum goes to ground. They're going to keep the ball.
I'm surprised on that one. Penn State started driving before that ball was put in. The ball wasn't even put in yet. And that's a penalty.
Referee let him get away with that one, but I think they're trying to take advantage of a possibly injured Craig Clark. BYU gets it right that time. Ball slightly screwed. Nick Gralla giving all kinds of trouble to Smith there. The ball may have been turned over to Penn State's side here. Big Krimpowski, Richard Krimpowski trying to drive the ball in. Gralla looking for Hundley. Hundley got some room there, gets it out to Acker, gets the Utah boy from Vernal, Susikowski, playing against boys from his home state, out to Justin Lauder. Lauder held up just outside of the line. Penn State trying to drive again. Gralla looking at his options, and it's back out to Hundley. Hundley off to the number 8 Cornhouse. Cornhouse, though, gets turned and dumped by one of the BYU players. Big hit there. Back to Dylan Acker. Inside center, takes it his first receiver. Looking to see what they can get away with. Gralla looking for Hundley here. Hundley looking. Hundley looked like he was going to go for a drop kick, but again he's going out to Wallach. Wallach with the ball in one hand. Unlucky, can't offload it, but he's still got the ball and he's in for a try.
Number
Stephen
6,
Wallach.
Penn State. Stephen Wallach with a great try.
Just talking about Stephen Wallach a minute ago, being involved in that last passenger play. Really showing what kind of a player he can be.
A lot of determination there. He was tackled. They tried to take the ball away from him, and he kept his feet moving and hung on.
With no time on the clock in injury time, Lucas Roberts lines up to take a kick. And Penn State's going to be pretty happy going into the locker room with just at least a 3 or 5 point deficit, where it could have been much more. BYU looked like they were running away with it for a little while there. Roberts lines it up. Ball rolls off the tee. Referee's going to let him go back and have another shot. Lucas Roberts, avid guitar player, according to his personal information. Lines up the kick here. Should be an easy one to make. Pushes it wide, though.
Roberts.
Penn State goes into halftime with a 5-point deficit. Brigham Young University 17, Penn State Nittany Lions 12 at the end of the first half. 40 minutes to go to see who plays the Cal Golden Bears in the Baza College Championship Final tomorrow.
Mini rugby balls, so you see the folks in blue start screaming, because here we go. The girls and the boys are out here with the mini rugby balls. Let's hear a little screaming. Not hearing much here. Come on, let's hear a little something here. We got some mini rugby balls flying around here. Where are you, fans? Where are you? Great fans in Northern California. Here you go. Woo! All right, that supports USA Rugby. Let's not forget any of our sponsors. Again, our title sponsor, Baza, High Energy Tea, official retail sponsor, World Rugby Shop, and Satenta. Of course, the rugby kit is Kuga.
guess you could ask me.
I need my co-host there. So
Hi, Kim.
Kim, I've been sitting here for 8 hours. You don't take the picture now. You can let them know I was actually sitting here.
Confirmed, he told me. Probably got a 65-man roster so far. Probably first 35, 25 will be there for sure. So going down. BYU guys? Yeah. I know 5 or 6 of them. And then, we'll want Greg Clark, Jared Sims.
Anything else?
Don't forget, rugby fans, come back here to Stuber Rugby Stadium at the University of Windsor the 9th, 10th, 7th, and 12th. So you can see the second leg
was completely surprised. Am I coming this direction? If you're on the side, just so you know, I'm straight.
World Cup
The side of the
guys
field
in
makes you still hear me, okay?
Bay Area.
Yeah, we can. Rick? I heard you pretty well. Okay, go to the other side then. Make sure. Now, 2 issues are taking place. Oh, when you're on this side, I want to show you something here. Look at the sun. I'll believe you. You're the one I apologized and I said I didn't call it quick enough? I had no idea. I didn't see a thing. It's fine. My best way to clean up the scrums away BYU's dominance. And I don't want to do that. I'm struggling with that specific issue. Nope. I will work that second time. So I gotta change that. Okay. it was legal. I'm watching it, but the thing is, you're guys picking up the ball, and if you're going to pick up the ball a little too early, it's your problem. Okay. Or if you're 8-man on bites. Okay? I will tell you, I'm right on top of it, but if you're 8-man on binds and you're doing what you're going to do, I'm going to let it go. Hold it. The captain! Right, captain!
Second half.
Stanford University, welcome back to the Baza College Championships. Contest between BYU and Penn State. Second half just about to kick off. BYU ahead 17-12. John, what do you think that's going to happen in this half?
Well, it's going to be interesting because now Penn State's got this wind going against them. It's not a really strong wind, but it's considerable for kicking. And they're also going to be looking into the sun. So I think BYU might put the ball up and have the sun in the eyes of the Penn State guys. And then they'd have to be kicking against a wind. I'm saying this because both teams seem to be kicking a lot. But I think Penn State's going to have a tough job.
Penn State's got a tough task ahead of them in the second half. Both teams looking to move on to play Cal in the national championship game after this.
Didn't work, guys.
Waiting for the referee to get himself set. Dave Peters reappears.
Here's the referee.
Dave Peters reappears.
Sorry, guys.
Sam Thorley gets ready to kick off BYU to get the second half started. 40 minutes of action left here at the Baza USA Rugby College Championships, powered by Media Zone. Kick from BYU, just over the 10-meter line. Knocked on there by BYU player. Penn State going to play the advantage. Nick Gralla comes up with it, looking to go off to his right-hand side. Back to Gralla. A lot of little passes, not going very far. Gralla out to Hundley. Hundley puts a ball in a Chris Miracle, a big prop, runs into a number of big tackles there. Runs into William Fale for a tackle. Sustakowski offloads the ball to his winger. Winger is run down by Nganga. Number 11 into his own player. Number 11, Justin Lauder, runs into his own player there. It's going to be a penalty to BYU. BYU number 8, St. Pierre, seems to be quite strapped up around the head there. Took a bit of a knock in the first half. Penalty BYU. We're going to have a line out here to BYU. Ngakuru, standout player from the first half, lines up here. Looking for Craig Clark. Craig Clark moves into the middle. Ball goes up. Out to Ngakuru.
Is that play again?
St. Pierre doesn't come through.
But a variation. Ikani. Ikani's number 18.
Come on back tomorrow and do it again.
We have a replacement here with Ikani coming into the game. BYU still rolling forward. Smith looking for the ball.
Play an advantage. We have advantage. Coming on the side. Leave him alone.
The referee calling players away. Ball out there. William Fale comes barreling through, meets Chris Miracle.
Still got advantage.
Picked up off the back there by Derek Smith from BYU, the tight head prop. BYU still trying to drive in the try zone. Close there. Penn State defense pitched up. Ball goes out to Ngakuru. Ngakuru. William Fale in for an early try. So it seems we have Ikani Toimopiao, excuse me. I'm trying to get this pronunciation right. Has stepped on the field. Toimopiao is a standout player here at BYU. Sat out the first half. Come in wearing number 18. Not sure where he's playing yet.
Yeah, he kind of made a name for himself by having a great run against Cal in one of the early plays of the game in last year's final, BYU against Cal. Picked up the ball at number 8 and ran down the sideline for about a 50-meter try, and we thought, oh wow, BYU is going to really put a good game against Cal. Now Cal came back and had a great game plan and beat BYU, but it kind of looked very good on that play.
Ikani Toimopiao may make a big difference in this game, as Sam Thorley lines up to take the kick, and Craig Clark being called over for some reason, possibly to hold the ball, but Thorley puts it up. can't convert it. Score 22-12 to BYU.
22. Penn State 12.
Off of William Fale, the big 260-pound inside center's try. Penn State sets up again. Justin Hundley takes the ball. Ready to restart. Penn State forwards ready to have another crack at it. Ball comes down BYU way. BYU number 7 there, Carl Dempsey. Early try scorer in the game. Tries to make a break with it. Doesn't quite get it happening, but it's been a Penn State knock-on. It's going to be scrummage here to BYU.
Okay.
I'm just not sure about that call.
I was telling your coach to be quiet.
Neither am I, but it is what it is, and Dave Peters is going to start the game here. Ball to Smith, scrum half, ball in hand.
No, we're going to have a stable platform today, guys.
Scrums came together before he made his calls.
We're going to do this right. Crouch.
Connie is playing number 8
Wait. Touch.
here.
Kanu Moipiao playing number 8 in for Steve St. Pierre, moving over to the open side flanker. A lot of weapons here in the forwards for BYU. Want to change. Here goes Kiefer with a high kick up over the winger's head. Unable to field it there, but Lucas Roberts comes down with it. Lucas Roberts making a good run here. Boots a ball, and the race is on. Fullback to fullback, as well as Justin Hundley out here. Taking him down. There's been a slight knock-on by the fullback for BYU. It doesn't come Penn State way. It's going to be a Penn State scrum down just here at the 22-meter line. Nice individual play there by the fullback.
Yeah. And, the fullback did smother the ball, got up and was tackled right away, but unfortunately on that tackle knocked it on, and it's Penn State scrum. Let's see if they can hold the scrum this half.
Penn State sitting up Nick Gralla, but things are going around. Dave Peters pulls it up.
To get the ball in before we push.
May decide he has to have another talk with Morris Havea over there. Penn State ready for the scrum. There's going to be a substitution here. Chris Miracle going out of the game. Big number 1, Chris Miracle. High school rugby captain at his Westchester East High School. Like many of these guys at Dean's List, not surprisingly, loves to cook. Miracle going off the field, but number 16 comes in for him. We don't have the name on him right now, but I'm sure we will soon as Gralla gets ready to put it in, but Peters pulls it up as it's moving too quickly.
No, that gave you guys the warning not to push, actually.
Timothy Morris has come in the game.
Crouch.
Timothy Morris has come in for Chris Miracle.
Pause. Engage. Steady. That's better.
Akani Toimupiao picks it up. William Fale gets it, but ends up getting the ball knocked back behind him. Ball comes back to the fullback, Sam Thorley, who clears his lines, but not out dead in the middle of the field. Didn't quite look for the line. As Lucas Roberts puts up a high kick and then takes a charge from the opposite fullback. Whistle has been blown by the referee for that late hit, and Penn State is going to have a choice between hit and hit. It wasn't a very hard hit, John, but certainly a little bit late.
That's kind of curious because before that play, the ball was knocked on by Penn State.
Penn State decides to take a quick tap inside the 22. Nick Gralla puts it off to Richard Krempowski. Gralla back to Hundley. Hundley looking for an inside runner. Finds number 5, Joseph Prezzo. Gralla digging the ball out of there. Coming back off the other side. Hundley, a little chip through, looking for something, but right into the hands of one of the BYU players, who gets an awkward hoof away, but gets the ball in a touch nonetheless.
Well, needless to say, some of the decisions are really perplexing here. I hope both teams can overcome this and play some good rugby from now on.
You'd hate to see a referee affect the outcome of a game, but we'll see. It seems to be a pretty even contest so far. Both sides trying to make the best of it. Nobody really complaining. Here goes Hundley, pass behind to Sustakowski. Sustakowski passing to nobody, putting Justin Lauder in a lot of trouble with some defenders on him. Ball eventually scooped up by Sam Thorley, the fullback. Back there. Out to William Fale. William Fale makes a break to the midfield. A lot of room to go there. Fale gets it out to number 1, Morris Havea, the prop, standing out by the touchline. Can't quite complete his pass there, but Nganga
Still
picks
alive.
it up. Excuse me, that was Grant Barnes that picked it up. And play has been stopped.
No, he's
Number
not.
6, Stephen Wallach, big player in this game, is down and injured at the moment. Let's hope Stephen's going to be okay. Wallach's been a key player in this Penn State set of forwards. Let's hope that he's going to be able to continue on. It'll be a big loss for them. As head coach Don Farrell looks on with concern for his player, I'm sure he's looking for his players to move a little bit wider and deal with some of the pressure that's coming on from the BYU players. That defensive
Hey, Bruce,
pressure from BYU is
come on
pretty
here.
impressive.
Something's been wrong.
Medic is calling for a substitution.
Hey, guys, it's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute. It's going to be a
Dave
minute.
Peters having everybody move off. Looks like it may be a little more serious than we had hoped. As they're being a little careful about moving Stephen Wallach.
When you look this direction, oh my gosh. I don't know. I think it may just be, I think he's just diabetic. That's what they're saying.
Stephen Wallach still down and being tended to.
It's all right.
And as we're waiting for them to tend to Stephen Wallach, we'd like to introduce somebody here at the Baza USA Rugby College Championships, none other than Barry Cooper, the owner of Baza Tea himself. Barry, how are you today?
I'm extremely well. A little cold, but extremely well.
Beautiful place out here. Fields of Stanford University. Baza, of course, the great sponsor for the college championships here. How are you enjoying yourself?
It's fabulous. And you see these young people running around, having a glorious time. The physical combat of rugby and being stimulated by Baza. It's just great.
Of course, everybody's glad to have you here as a sponsor. What do you think of the teams you've seen so far? Are you picking anybody for tomorrow?
Well, I thought Caltech was pretty awesome. And I'm told that people normally don't score against them. So I think Penn State did extremely well. But all the teams are so competitive and they're charged up with the opportunity to play in a championship game. So I think it's going to be a really good final.
Now, Barry, you were a player, of course, yourself for many, many years. You may still play, but what do you think of rugby these days compared to the way we used to trudge around on the field?
Well, when I looked at the girls' games, I couldn't even believe that I played a game like that. It's like, I can't believe they tackle the way they do. When I see these young men run around, I just can't believe I was ever that fast. So perhaps as you get older, your memories crystallize into something that you never were.
I think I might feel the same. I think a lot of us might feel the same way around here. But Barry, tell us a little bit about Cooper Tea and Baza.
Well, Baza is an all-natural ingredient energy tea that's as powerful as all of the drinks out there in the marketplace for energy teas. But it's made from all natural ingredients, so you get the energy boost, but you also get all the good things that come with green tea. Things like EGCG, epicatechin gallate, which is extraordinarily powerful polyphenol. It's very, very good at quenching free radicals, 500 times more powerful than vitamin C, and 20 times more powerful than vitamin E. And that's a mouthful.
That certainly is a mouthful. I thought I had a tough time saying a few things here. But Barry, we know you've been in the tea business for a long time with Cooper Tea and a number of other companies. Is this your first foray into cold teas?
This is my first foray into bottled teas, yes. We saw an opportunity with the energy tea market, or the energy drink market, that there was nothing there that we saw that was actually good for you to drink, in our opinion. So when we developed the green tea base for our product, we realized that by drinking energy tea, we'd actually have something that would do you good as well as giving you the stimulant you needed.
All right, great. Tell us from your rugby career, the strangest place in all your world travels you ever saw a rugby game take place.
The strangest place, probably Indonesia.
He's sitting there. You mean delay a game?
In fact, I was on a business trip, and my associate in those days it was Lipton, asked me if I'd like to go down and watch a rugby game, and they were short a player.
If you did,
and they asked me if I would like to play, so I said yes, and they put me on the wing. What I didn't realise that it was a mock-up game as a test game for the national team. So I found myself running around against the national team of Indonesia.
That from Barry Cooper's mouth. Stephen Wallach seems to be on his feet. Barry, thank you very much. USA Rugby thanks you as the sponsor for this great event, the BAZA National Championships. And you can get BAZA in all of your 7-Elevens across the country. Is that true?
That is correct. And please buy them. We'd like to support the game, and I need the money.
Thanks, Barry. Have a great day. All right, Stephen Wallach up and being tended to at the moment. Good to see him standing, but I wouldn't imagine he's going to carry on in this game. And he certainly isn't, as we have.
Has he stayed in?
We'll have to get his number. Looks like.
No, he's off. If he's off, he's off. Right now.
Number 18, John Lehman, coming in.
Okay.
John Lehman's going to have some big shoes to fill for the rest of the game. Stephen Wallach is certainly giving it his all.
There's two doctors here.
Oh, Stephen Wallach is staying on the field. He's not going anywhere.
Wallach to stay on the field. Here we go.
Referee Peters ready to get the game started again with a line out to Penn State inside their own 22. But he holds it up. I think he wants some more people in there.
Are you sure? You're wobbling. You're wobbling as you walk. Are you positive?
I'm trying to stretch my groin. My groin's killing me.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys.
Referee
Safety
just
first.
stopping to have a chat with somebody there.
Come on up, guys. We're not going to give numbers right now. Just get it going.
Penn State to put in the ball. BYU contesting. Comes down with big number 4, Ryan Heaney. Penn State driving it forward. Not finding too much ground there. They'll have to get themselves reset.
That's all right.
And big Ryan Heaney still has the ball, trying to take it on a little further as he sets a ruck. Ball comes back to Gralla. Gralla sets it back to Hundley. And Hundley looks for make some ground, but not so much. Still inside the 22, but it's going to be BYU ball now.
Six wide off. Okay, 6 wide is off.
BYU sets up Ngakuru to put the ball in again. Ngakuru checking the wind as if he's going to kick some goals. Quick move. Number 7, Carl Dempsey goes up. Ball goes off to St. Pierre. Toy Moipiao was in with him. Toy Moipiao goes over and ball comes out to number 3, Derek Smith. Big Derek Smith rumbles outside the 5-meter line. Comes out to Toy Moipiao again. Toy Moipiao finds a room and he is in under the post. And Ikani Toy Moipiao.
Yeah, Ikani's quite an athlete. I mean, he's actually local here, and I think he's from South San Francisco area. And it's only his second year playing rugby.
I know. They all went back.
He is really a tremendous athlete. Great speed, great agility.
That's it.
Once he learns a little bit more about the game, I think he's going to be a really good player. He's got that breakaway speed and that explosion.
That's it. Ikani Toa Moipiao has scored another try. Really bright future in the game for the young man as Thorley lines up his kick and slots it through. 27-29 now, 29-12. BYU. Just over 10 minutes gone in this half if you take that injury time into account. Penn State comes back out. Certainly know they have a long road ahead of them. Don Farrell has a word with the touch judge. Penn State looking for a ball to restart it again. Ball runner doesn't have it out to him. Gets it out to number 8, Bradley Cornhouse, sending it in there.
Now, John, did Wallach go out?
No, Wallach stayed in. Wallach stayed in the game. Unless they changed it now, but I don't believe they did. Hundley puts up a nice high ball out there into the hands of Ngakuru, who gets it back to Toy Moipiao, who's on another run. Toy Moipiao cutting once again. Oh, drops the ball going through. It looked like he was going to try to slip a pass there to Steve St. Pierre. Penn State's turning over, but they do have the advantage. Ball comes back from Swart to one.
No advantage of the original knock.
And the referee is going to come back
Blue
for the
has
knock
come
on
down
there.
your
Torrin
line.
Whitepiot looked like he was away for another run there.
Yeah, he's an exceptionally fine runner. But he'll do some silly things like drop the ball and open the field. I know. I coached him for with the Pacific Coast Grizzlies last year, and he was a formidable player. Let me tell you.
Crouch.
Torrin Whitepiot at the back of this scrum for BYU with the ball's going in Penn State side. Good platform. Gralla away with the ball, looking to find some space, but doesn't quite get there. Hands off the ball to.
Hands off. Hands off.
Didn't see who got lost to there. Penn State keeping it tight.
Ball's tipped.
Tries to put up a little kick there. Doesn't really work. No, that was William Fale. Puts it in the hand of Lucas Roberts. Lucas Roberts runs back into Fale, but stays in field, trying to keep it alive.
Back up. Take a step back.
Ball's out. Number 12 feeding it back inside there, Dylan Acker. Gralla getting a wide ball out there to Sustakowski, who's just trying to barrel through the midfield without much support there. Penn State has it again, putting a few good phases in here. Gralla puts it over somebody's head. Ball into Inga Kuru's hands. Covering back for a wing again, but we seem to have a penalty here for offsides from Dave Peters. He's going to bring the ball back and not give the advantage.
That's blue 8, guys.
Number 11, Justin Lotter in to kick the ball.
Yeah, blue 8.
Stephen Wallach has been replaced by John Lehman. He tried to stay in the game. He was up for it, but I think his coaching staff thought a little differently, that they should make the change and look out for the player's safety. Probably a good choice by Don Farrell.
Well, I think that's the right thing to do. If somebody's taken a severe injury and stopped the game for 15 minutes or so, then that's enough right there to say, you've had enough and you can play tomorrow, play the next time. I think safety first in all this.
Penn State has another substitution coming in as Joseph Crezo heads out of the game, replaced by number 17, Robert Ruff. Ryan Heaney comes down with the ball. Penn State trying to drive forward. Ball's been turned over to BYU, though. Chip over by Smith. A little bit of indecision here. You better do something pretty quick with it now. Does number 14.
Stop.
Ryan Roof ends up hoofing the ball up high.
This could be
the hands
trouble.
of William Fale. William Fale gets a bit of steam on there. Tries to offload one of his players, but chipped ahead by Jonathan Swart of Penn State. But it's going to be a BYU ball just inside their own 40. Duran Ngakuru here to put in the ball.
Go. 12 white off sub.
I think it's getting difficult for these Penn State players to feel these kicks that are coming down because that sun's low in the sky and they're looking right into the sun.
It is late afternoon here in Northern California, in the Bay Area. Ball goes out. Penn State trying to drive the ball forward inside the 40-meter line of BYU. Ball's fed out to Justin Hundley. Justin Hundley's got a couple of runners with him. Chooses to go to his outside. Ball comes quickly back to Gralla. Gralla just barely able to scoop it up. But it seems to be a knock on there from BYU. It's going to be ball scrum to Penn State.
Penn State's putting on a few good sequences here. They've kept possession. If they can do a good job and win this scrum, and maybe they can get a little bit further down there and attack.
Gralla puts the ball in. Kornhaus over the back, looking to get something done with it, but the ball gets popped up to Gralla. Gralla back to Lucas Roberts. Roberts trying to keep the ball alive here.
Get it up. Get it out.
This ball doesn't look like it's coming out of there, John. It looks like they turned it over to BYU.
It's not coming anywhere. It's going to be a put in here to BYU.
Came in by white.
Ball has been held up.
Scrum down to blue. Steady platform, okay?
Number 20, Austin.
Austin Maynard.
Crouch. Pause. Touch.
Augie Manelik's brother, David Austin Manelik, is in the game. Number
Here goes
20.
Akani again.
At inside center for Acker. Akanatoy Moipia comes back, tries to dish the ball off, doesn't go anywhere. The second Manelik brother on there trying to make something happen. But Peters has seen a couple of knock-ons. First one there on the Toy Moipia play, and the ball is going to go to Penn State.
Nothing exciting. Another knock-on, gentlemen. Crouch.
Nick Browler gets his forwards ready for battle.
Engage. Hold it. Wait. Good.
Turned it over in the
Lost it.
scrum. Toy Moipia with yet another chance to run onto it. Gets the ball to William Fale. Tries to sell a little dummy. Doesn't work.
Left form. Roll up. That's good.
Down on the ground. Little slip there from, it looked like Ingakuru. His first mistake of the day.
Uh-oh.
But ball's still alive. And number 11, Grant Barnes, is on his way to the try zone and touches one down in the corner.
Grant Barnes for the try.
Well, that try in that sequence was definitely as a result of the BYU scrum just pushing Penn State scrum right off the ball. Penn State had the scrum, put the ball in, BYU pushed them right off it, won the scrum at the 50-meter line. Connie picked up the ball and then started that whole movement. Ended up in a try down in the left corner.
Turnover there from the scrum. Penn State suffering the consequences of that one.
Yeah, just goes to show you that the scrums may be an automatic ball many times, but boy, if you lose it, you're under a lot of pressure. And the pressure came out to that weak side, and they just didn't have enough defenders with the onslaught of the BYU players coming at them.
You certainly can be in trouble, and BYU showed it there. As they're back talking to each other, looking set to regroup. 34-12, they're up above Penn State. A little bit more of an even contest in this one than it was in the Cal game. But BYU starting to pull away here in the later stages. Thorley unable to convert that kick. Score stands at 34-12. BYU over Penn State.
34, Penn State 12. Remember, folks, we've got sweatshirts and all sorts of other rugby gear over at our concession stands. And
Penn State out here quick, not looking to let down. Justin Huntley has the ball in hand, ready to kick off. Try to put it over the BYU heads again, see what happens, get his forwards running on the ball. I don't think any of these boys are done yet with 20 minutes to go. The low kick didn't quite go where he wanted it. Nearly fielded by a couple of players there.
Back form. Roll out. That's good.
Bad pass back to Keeper. Keeper in a little bit of trouble, but is able to get it off the left boot. Into the stands. It's going to be Penn State ball. BYU 40-meter line.
Well, that looks a little disorganized, didn't it?
Space.
The shade's starting to set in the late day here at Stuber Rugby Stadium, Stanford University. Penn State puts in the ball, immediately turns it over to BYU.
No advantage in the first knock-on. You dropped the forward there,
Peters
too.
seems to have seen, well, he did see both of them. First knock-on by Penn State, and a knock-on by BYU, but it's going to be Penn State ball. It's going to be BYU ball, excuse me.
I've had enough of him. Get him out of here.
John, did you see a knock on there?
I saw a couple of them, actually.
I don't. Crouch.
First one was definitely by Penn State.
Pause. Engage. Steady.
I thought Peters would have missed it. It was on the other side of the set piece from him. The Conatary Moipia tries to put the ball out to number 11, Justin Lauder. Number 11, Grant Barnes, just a try score. But Barnes ends up knocking it on. We're going to be back to another scrum here. Things starting to slow down just under 20 minutes in. 20 minutes left. Just about 18 minutes to go in this second semifinal between BYU and Penn State here at the Baza College Championships. Stanford University of Palo Alto, California. BYU up with the ball. Conatary Moipia tries to get something done with it. Fielded well by a Penn State defender.
Roll out. Rep form.
Penn State trying to dig this ball out of here. Gralla back. Lucas Roberts just trying to clear his lines, but doesn't quite get there. Ball is back to Ingakuru, who's on with the head of steam, who's been having a heck of a game. coming in from deep lately. Ball goes out there to number 13.
That's a good pass put in by Taylor Kerr.
Taylor Kerr puts it to Nganga. Nganga headed for the line, and Nganga is away. There goes Nganga across, nearly under the post, puts in the try. Vito Nganga, another try for Brigham Young University as they're really starting to pull away with just under 17 minutes to go in the game.
That was a really nice pass by Taylor Kerr coming out to Nganga on that play.
Well set up by Taylor Kerr, you're right. Ball right down in the corner, and Nganga scores, I think, his first try of the day. Nganga, a real talent for this team, stepped up this year, doing great work for BYU. Sam Thorley lines up yet another kick. Try to extend the lead from 39-12 to 41. We'll see what happens. Straight in front of the sticks, lines it up, and it's through.
Thorley splits the uprights. BYU 41. Penn State 12.
If you're Penn State now, John, you got to be getting a little bit worried here. It's just about the end of the season for these guys. 15 minutes to go, but quite a deficit at 41-12. I don't think they could close the gap on this.
I think BYU is really taking over the game now, and you can tell that from the, well, look at this, and this is a short kick. So that's a really dramatic error.
An error creeping in there from Justin Hundley, unexpected.
But BYU taking charge of these scrums and winning the Penn State scrum has just turned this game around in favor of BYU by a large margin. You can't give away a possession in a scrum like that. But
scrum in midfield here to BYU. Toy Moipiao back with the ball at his feet. Let's see what he's going to do with it. Takes it out, feeds the scrum half Smith. Smith puts it out to Sam Thorley. Sam Thorley tries to get it back in Nganga's hands, but nothing happening there. Penn State, quick throw in. Number 11, Justin Lauder, knows they got to get something going here. Gets it to Augie Manelik. Augie's always game for a run. Augie's driving through a few meters here. Trying to get the ball back up. There it is. Nick Gralla, ball in hand. Ships over the top. Let's see what can happen here. Number 13, Sustakowski on it, but fielded by Craig Clark, who puts out a long ball to a screaming William Fale, who's looking for the ball. Fale inside the 40. Big boy doesn't offload. Gets taken down by two defenders there just inside the 22. Ball's free. Loses it to a Penn State defender from behind the ruck. Probably should have offloaded it there, but Gralla chips it through, and now he's chasing his own ball, which rolls out just around the 50-meter line. BYU scrum, BYU line out.
Well, that's fun to see, though. I mean, you got big Craig Clark out there fielding that pop kick, running back to field that pop kick, and then losing the tackler on it, and then throwing about a 35-meter pass across to this outside center.
Into the hands of his inside center, but, you know, the big boy nonetheless went rumbling up the field.
And you got about a 240-pound center running up the field.
You didn't have too many thoughts about giving it away. Inga Kuru tries to field that one. Doesn't quite come up with it. Ball's pushed away downfield by Smith. Interesting bounce there for Ryan Roof. And Roof's kick doesn't quite do what I think he was hoping it would. Stays right around the 22. It's going to be... Touch judge was almost pointing towards Penn State to get the throw in, but BYU ball here at the 22.
Some of these kicks leave a little bit something to be desired, don't you think?
Yes. Some of these kicks have left a little bit desired. A little bit of pressure on these guys.
We've got a substitution here.
A couple more changes coming in for Penn State here. Ryan Roof going off. Somebody coming in the wing. We'll have to get his number.
Oh, look at that play.
A little bit of mishandle and nearly Toy Moipiao again with the ball.
Well, that's an interesting knock-on rule because, see, that didn't hit the ground. That was knocked forward and hit the opposing player, who then knocked it again. So it's still a knock-on. The ball doesn't have to hit the ground for a knock-on.
Now we have Carl Dempsey going out of the game for BYU. The flanker taking a breather, letting somebody else in. Oh, and it looks like Duran Ingakuru, who I'd have to say was probably one of the most consistently impressive players for BYU today, is coming off as well. As is William Fale, the center. Let's look at all these substitution names here as soon as we can.
Okay, Taylor Kerr goes inside center now. Oh, there's another scrum.
Another tight head. Ikani Toimoipiao back to Smith, his scrum house. Smith nowhere to go, sets it up.
Stay out of there.
Got an advantage here to Penn State. Must have been some sort of a knock-on in there. Penn State fielding the ball. Nick Gralla digging it out. Ball back to Justin Hunley. Has to take it on the jump. Puts a high one into the stands. Referee
11
gauges that
minutes
as
to
an
go in the
advantage.
game, John. I think Penn State would be well advised to not kick the ball anymore and try to run it.
You think they would run a run at this point?
Even though you're in your own territory, I mean, what are you going to do?
At this point in the game, if you want to try to close this gap at all and walk away with a bit of respectability for yourself, you've got to start to run it out of your own zone when you can. Vito Ngango also being replaced by number 22 here. It looks like BYU has used up all their replacements as they put the ball in, driving it forward. Still driving forward just outside of the Penn State line. Working the ball back, working the ball back. Penn State looking to defend here. BYU driving the ball tight around these rucks, but not going anywhere with a pretty solid Penn State defense right here. Here we go
BYU
again.
looks to...
BYU finally spins a wide. Taylor Kerr can't quite hang on to it, but keeper comes through with the ball, takes it to the ground, followed up by Taylor Kerr again. Smith has options either way here if he can get a hold of the ball. Ball comes out to number 5, Craig Clark. Gets dump tackled just outside of his 5-meter line. Ball comes out here to number 4, and there it is, out to, can't see from here, but we have another BYU try.
BYU try. Number 19, BYU.
Yeah, BYU looked to try to keep it in the forwards there that time, and they only threw it out once to the backs, but then brought it right back to the forwards. And they made a couple of substitutions, get the ball in the hands of the fresh guys.
Yep. That certainly happened in this half with just under 10 minutes to go. We've just got the news in here that day one of the 2 days of the Baza College Championships here, nearly 3,000 people have been in attendance coming through the gates today. That's a good number for USA Rugby. Good attendance today. We're seeing to get some more people in.
Thank you very much, fans.
And looking forward to seeing some more people tomorrow.
Well, that's really pretty good for a Friday afternoon, or all day, where for the most part people are coming because they're fans of these universities and not just random rugby fans who are probably working. But Saturday's games, I think they're looking to get about 5,000 in here. That's what I heard.
Expecting a bigger crowd tomorrow here.
Go wide on that. BYU 46, Penn State 12.
Just about 8.5 minutes to go here. Baza College Championship, Stanford University, 46-12. BYU leads Penn State. Penn State season, unfortunately, nearly over. Sure, it's been a good one from them. They've come back from a lot of games and won it, coming here through the semifinals, but caught up against a BYU team that's just looking a bit better. As a second mistake in as many kickoffs. Yeah. Ball put directly in a touch.
Straight out, yeah. And, in comparison, I think Penn State looks to be a lot more physical than Naval Academy in comparison to the four men's teams that played here. Penn State has some weapons and played a very physical game.
I would certainly say so. Navy was a bit straightforward of a team, crashing off the sides of the rucks there. Penn State was looking to move a little wider. Penn State and Navy have a big rivalry and have each beaten each other this year, I believe. As Akani Toimoipiao holds the ball in a ruck and gets penalized quickly. Here's Nick Grallo off with the ball. Player not 10, Olga Manella gets to his boot, chasing it inside the 22. Back goes Sam Thorley, but the referee has decided that's not enough of an advantage. He's going to come back here for the not 10. It's going to be a Penn State penalty just inside the BYU 40 with about 8 minutes to go to make something happen towards the end of this game. Ball on a touch there from Justin Lauder. About 15 meters out. Penn State will have the line out.
And 22, Hutchinson.
Swart lines up to put the ball in. Player leans over and brings it down.
Jump.
Working off the side of the line out here is Penn State, trying to move the ball forward. Growler's got it in his hands. Hundley's got it. Hundley puts it out to Austin Manelik, the other Manelik brother. Dana Austin Manelik. Back into Growler's hands. Growler, no space, but puts it back to Kornhaus, looking to just run over one of the BYU defenders. Doesn't quite get there. Spills it forward in the tackle. And dragging a touch is a BYU player. It's going to be Penn State ball. But we've run in for another injury here. Bradley Kornhaus, so number 8 for Penn State, down and needing attention.
Knock on. Yeah. I saw what he hit. He hit.
Penn
he
State
hit
trainer on the
elbow of his own
field.
guy. There's nothing here. There's no punch. I saw that. No,
Bradley Kornhaus down with just over 5 minutes to go.
Hit him.
Been a long season. It'd be too bad to see him get injured at this time of the game.
He's got a little blood there, I think, and might have been hitting the nose.
Hopefully we'll just clean him up a little bit and get the game going. So, John, I suppose the question is, now that BYU looks like they're moving into the championships, from what you've seen today, do they have what it takes to unseat Cal, the longtime champion?
Yes.
It's a rematch, isn't it? Last year, BYU could have won that game. I mean, Cal's pattern won the game for them last year. BYU could have done a little bit better job, but made a few mistakes, kicked the ball over and over again, kicked away possession, if I remember last year. Now, maybe this year BYU will learn from that and keep the ball in the hand and keep the possession a little bit more. But BYU's got a good team. They've got some weapons on that team. They do have some speed outside. I think for the game tomorrow the question will be whether or not one team will make the dramatic mistakes and give the ball over in a crucial time. I think it'll be a good, hard-fought game, and it'll be close.
Yeah, it'd be great to see as Kornhaus leaves the field. Looks like he does have a bloody nose.
It's just going to be a scrum
Not
here.
feeling too
Nothing
well. I
exciting.
don't know where.
Actually, a scrum over.
County Toy seems to be following him off the field. Not sure why. As we come back for a scrum to BYU. Looks as though Toy Moipea maybe being replaced here. Just a couple minutes to go in the game. Had a huge impact since he's come in.
I have no idea where the ball is. There it is.
Yeah, they're making a substitution for him. He had a little bit of a limp when he went off, but his substitute isn't on yet. Here it is.
Toy Moipea has been hurt.
Let's just start forming slow, guys. Crouch!
This guy's starting the scrum without the...
BYU flanker gets there.
Yeah.
Steady.
They did have a lot of time during an injury break where they could have made a substitution. Ball back from Smith to keeper. Safely in a touch.
That's a good kick.
At the 40-meter line. Getting himself some breathing room. Trying to wind down these last 5 minutes. Jonathan Swart to put it in here for Penn State. Penn State comes up with it.
Wait! Play in advance. Okay, you're fine. Good. Keep it up. Hey, Fives, take a step out of
Penn
there.
State with very little time, keeping the ball tight here.
Penn State was yelling drive, but they weren't going anywhere.
Justin Hundley gets it out to Dana Manelik. Manelik back
nice
to
move.
Lucas Roberts. Lucas Roberts tries to chip it through. Nothing happening there. BYU player hauled to the ground. Ball is back to Kiefer. Another safe touch finder.
I think BYU's not going to take any chances here. They're just going to kick the ball to touch, and slow the game down that way. They've got the game well in hand with the 46-12 score. And
Just a little time left seems to be the thing to do. Penn State no luck. Ball skews off, not straight from the hooker.
Not straight lineup.
Touch. Pause.
I see the fly half and the center calling a play for BYU. Looks like they've got a play on.
BYU is not done yet. It looks like certainly not done yet as Taylor Kerr comes flying through.
Taylor Kerr
Gets some ground. Keeping in the forwards there. Augie Manelik puts in a nice little hit. His work rate's never going to go down. Ball comes back there to Keeper. Keeper hoofs a high one. Up into the sun. Mark called for it by number 15, Lucas Roberts. Referee not awarding it. Apparently didn't hear it, so he's stuck.
Stay on your feet.
Finally gets it back. Ball's gone. Number 11, Justin Lauder, puts in a big kick. Ball doesn't go in a touch. BYU returning it.
Stop.
Again, Lucas Roberts ball in hand, dishes it off. Penn State looking to keep it moving now, but not much happening. Nick Gralla feeds the ball out to one of his forwards standing there. That's Richard Kremposki, 6'4" prop, looking to get something done. Back here to Lucas Roberts, who's got a little bit of breathing room, puts the boots of the ball over the heads of the defenders. Well fielded by Sam Thorley.
Back it up. 16.
Nick Gralla doesn't field it inside his 22. Let somebody else handle it. As the ball comes flying up towards the broadcast booth.
Right now.
Replacement hooker for BYU, ready to put the ball in.
Wait.
Craig Clark pulls it down.
He's automatic, isn't he, on those lineouts?
Yeah, he is just money in those lineouts. Craig Clark all day.
Heck of a driving maul here. Still moving.
Ball's going to ground, coming back BYU side. Smith gets it out to Kiefer. Kiefer looking at Taylor Carr, goes by him, gets into the gap, and he may be away. The pass doesn't go to hand out there. Number 15, Sam Thorley knows he's won, but that was a bit silly. Tries to put out a pass to his winger out there. But BYU able to retain possession. Here comes Keeper. They're still having a go.
Players out here.
Player through the gap. They got so many players out here. Number 22, one of the replacement players, goes in for an easy late try. Right under the post with just under a minute to go. Tough for Penn State to deal with this, but BYU decided it's not time to give up and close the door.
Well, the score line isn't that much different than the
No, it's really not.
Navy game. Now, at the end of the day here, 51 with a kick underneath the post here, so maybe it's 53-12.
53-12. That is pretty close to what we saw in the last game.
And what was the Cal score? 63 to
63 to. That was a bit more than that, but I can't remember the exact score. Navy put in a couple of late tries there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's like 63-31 or something like that.
That's right. Yeah,
These balls are coming
63-31.
pretty close. As Sam Thorley slots a last kick, and that is the end of the game. BYU 53, Penn State 12. Baza College National Championships, USA Rugby here at Stanford University. You can get us again tomorrow, live feed off the USA Rugby website, powered by Media Zone. For myself, John Broker, and my friend John Tyler. How'd you feel today, John?
Well, it's the first time for me, but I enjoyed it. It's fun.
For myself and John Tyler, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Baza Collegiate Finals between BYU and Penn State. Replay of last year's final, as well as the women's final. Also a replay of last year, Stanford versus Penn State.
Don't forget to grab those sweatshirts on the way out. We've got to thank all of our sponsors one more time. We've got Baza, Higher GT, official retail sponsor, World Rugby Shop, and Setanta for our rugby fixes. Kuga, the official rugby kit. Sony Bravia, HD TV, 24-hour fitness, Gatorade, EA Sports, Bank of America, and Gilbert Rugby Balls. Everyone, please drive carefully, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thank you for participating in this fine collegiate championships.
I'm going to penalize you if you make me look that bad again. I don't know. Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks. Nice game. Nice game. Nice game. What's it coming over to you? Thank you. Nice game. Nice game. Thanks. Yeah, well played. For a while, the first half, I was like, when one of you guys secure a damn rock, the first half, nobody secured rocks for the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Never explain the foot offside.
Okay, let me tell you.
You said.
First thing what happened was this, is your hands on. The second wasn't your guy. It wasn't you. He went ahead and became a contortionist and used his foot to come around offside. That's offside. Yeah, really. Yeah. When the coach gets calmed down, tell him when you lose your